about post-elections. You have been quite busy. First of all, though, we saw in the news about the confiscation of some fertilizers, but the very recent one, which we are going to start the conversation on, in terms of the substance of our conversation, is these gold bars that were intercepted. First of all, tell us how you got there, because at the moment, the PMMC is accusing you of actually leading a mob to disrupt the process in its assay.
Yes, thank you very much. Looking at the sensitive nature of the substance we are talking about, I decided not to be talking on it in terms of media. Okay, so for the whole of yesterday, stayed out this morning, stayed out that, but there are some media houses that if they want to probe into certain issues, you can't. And your station is one of them. I respect you. I listen to you on a daily basis, unless I don't have a network that listen to your morning show. So I couldn't turn down the request to want to give further details into what happened. And that's why I'm speaking to you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, we pick signals, and it's not only about the gold; it's about all other state materials, wherever it is. We all find out now. When we pick any signal, we have to do some background checks to find out whether indeed it's worthy to go in there and make sure it doesn't get to where it's intended to go. And the fertilizers and some cars and other things are example of that. So we take signals that the precious minerals, whatever you call it, the PMMC, were in the process of exporting some gold, which should have come through the DOG and some legal formalities before it gets there. So we needed to monitor these activities, and we did till the Monday we are talking about, where Tuesday, that we got to find out that they were moving these gold bars to the airport. And the car they were using, which is not from DOG, was tracked and been followed since morning. So they got to the airport to be at this location. Then he moves to another location. The suspicion was that they were trying to ward off all eyes. I don't know if it is something that is legal. You just move in straight. For instance, if you want to travel, if I want to travel, you just move straight to the departure or do our check-ins, whatever, go to the formalities, then you go without looking left or right, who is looking at me. But if you are not supposed to be traveling or you are moving with some suspicious material, that's where you'll be looking left, right, center to find out if somebody is monitoring. So when we monitored the car to the airport, the car didn't just enter the Aviance arena, where that is where they go through the lab formalities and whatever before final certification is given for the goods to move on to whichever aircraft is taking it. But this car never entered there. We got to a point, it goes with, when it suspects that people are looking at it, it moves. So that raised a lot of suspicions, and we still needed to follow this track. And I remember when we finally seized it, I asked the PMC man that, why were you moving from one location to the other if what you were doing was legal? Then he said, oh, as and when the chopper brings the gold, they have to move and go and take it. So at the point, the chopper will come. I don't know how many times the chopper brought gold at that particular day. The precious minerals, they don't take the gold directly from the chopper, that's the helicopter, and just move straight to the airport and want to process it. They have an office, they have to go through whatever the should be some way bills and all these things. We ask questions whether they have all these documents to prove that indeed these materials move from this location to that location before it's coming here. So when we monitored it and got finally to the Aviance Arena, then we had to, at that point, around 4 to 5 p.m., because our suspicion was that it's going to put on Emirates, and Emirates was going to take off around 6 thereabouts. So it was just about being moved onto Emirates. Then we had to now move in to ask questions as to what materials are in that car. Now, this is the whole issue. When the car that had the bullion van that had the gold in it was moving, it was moving in a single convoy. Now, another bullion van moved in to now give it protection. That is where we sensed that these people, because they found out that there are some ice moving there, they needed protection. So now the BOG van moves in, come and give escort to them for them to be able to enter. You know, BOG people, when they are coming, they are military, and there are some armed police people that will come in. So they moved in there and had it inside. But we finally had to move in and stop that activity. Now, we went in there, started asking questions, conflicting statements, and I'm surprised. I've read the PMC statement, and I'm surprised. I don't know who wrote it for them and why they would even have to come out with such a statement, because it's going to open up a lot of wounds and expose them the more. Because
are you saying that the statements from the PMMC, the Precious Minerals Marketing Company, the statements coming from them does not reflect what happened?
Not at all. Not at all. I don't know who wrote it and whether the person was briefed by the Yamin, who was fumbling, who was shivering, who didn't know what to say and was contradicting himself that evening. I'm sure the police had all these things because they were recording everything and they're putting notes down. When you want to do more inspection into this, you go to the police and they'll give you more details. Now, this is it. So I'm surprised that a statement like that will come out. And I know that it's not coming from the man who was in the heat of affairs, who wrote this thing. Somebody somewhere just wanted to divert attention. When we got there, we now brought in the airport police so that officially the police will handle the matter. We brought in the customs people who gave us a narrative. The first narrative came from the custom head of the cargo session or the airport. And he said that he also picked intel in the morning that some goods were illegally going to be exported out of this country. So they also started with the Yamin tracking this information that they had. So it is not only we. The police also confirmed they also picked signal the same, and the Yamin were on the ground. The national security people were there. They also said they picked this signal, and they also there. The BNI, which is NIB now, also had their people there, that they also picked the same signal in the morning. But none of them could move in to halt the process until we had to move in and now halt it, because probably we were advanced more than them as far as information were concerned. So we asked the man to brief us. Then he said when he finally came to them, they said the goods were in the bullion van, but they confronted them and they said it was in the lab going through formalities to check the purity of the good or whatever and get clearance before it can be moved. So to him, they showed him documents which suggest that it's going through the process which it needs to go through before it's put on board. Now, the car was empty, and that is what they told him. But now that we have moved in, they are now telling him that they had gold in the bullion van. And so now he doesn't know when the gold started moving from the lab, which is a secured place, back into the car. And he asked the PMC man, and he said that because they saw a lot of young men there. They thought it was rather safe in the bullion van than in the lab, which you will have to go through some locks before you get in there. And this didn't make sense to all of us. That hey, the things are in the room. It's difficult for anybody to get into that room. You suspect that people are outside. You want to move these materials back into the car, which are the people surrounding it. Why would you do that? And so there was suspicion on that. Then we now moved in and asked the man, the PMC man, who was there, to also give us a narrative of this whole thing. And the man was just speaking about the bush. Today, at this point, you say Chopper brought them things, we have to go and pick it from. At this point, you say, oh, we are scared that people were monitoring all these things. If you are bringing something legally and you see that people are monitoring it and it's not safe for you, why don't you go back and put them in the safe place where you took it from? But you still wanted to force your way through and get these things exported out of the country. Now we asked the BOG head of security who brought into Oshadeni to give us his narrative. And his narrative was also different from the narrative of the PMC. Because the PMC said it's a BOG consignment. Only for the man to say that, no, they were called in by the PMC to come and give them protection since they were going to export these goods. And that's mostly what they do is that they export them, they give them protection. And if they are unable to export all the quantity they have, then they will now lead the whole consignment, the reserve one, back to BOG vote for safekeeping. And the next morning, they bring it back to the airport. So the police, they had a police officer for airport police asked a simple question. Are these consignments for the BOG? The man says no. If you leave the BOG with this consignment, he says no. At what point did you join them, bring the materials here? He said that they had to join them halfway because they were there and there was a call that they needed the BOG to help them take these things from there. So now, the material at that point, confirmation from the PMC guy and the BOG head of security now gives us a confidence that it is not Bank of Ghana consignment, and that it is the PMC. So as we were going, we wanted to check and see whether indeed it is good in there, and the ones that are in the lab. You brought documentation, and the quantity was about 400 and something kg, so more than the 400 kilograms that they have brought in there to export. Whilst we were moving in there to go and check these things, people started coming in. You'll be there and they will bring you, the PMC guy will bring you a call, a phone, and that my boss wants to talk to you. Who is your boss? Or is they want to talk to you? I said, no, let us finish what we are doing. I will have enough time to talk to whoever is your boss. The Bank of Ghana guy will also bring the phone and say, my boss wants to talk to you. Who is your boss? He will not say who the boss is. Your boss should be the governor of Bank of Ghana or somebody at the top, since you say the thing is for them. But you say, my boss wants to talk to you. I say, I won't talk to anybody. Let's finish what we are doing. Now we have enough time to talk about these things. Now, people started coming in, and when they come, they also start making conflicting statements, especially one person that came and introduced himself as coming from BOG's finance department or whatever. When we finally decided that, okay, this consignment can move out of the country until proper clarity is given on the ownership of this thing, why it's supposed to go, who is going to pick it, and all these things. We are now looking at a safe grounds to keep them, that we could start the investigations and all these things. So we now agreed that there's a safe at the Swiss spot at the cargo section of the airport. And if we could all agree, all of us agree, including myself who led the operation, would agree that we should go and dump the thing in that safe place, lock it, and wait for the next day. I agreed and said, yes, wherever the thing will be saved, as long as it's not leaving the shores of this country, I am okay with it. Then this man comes in and says that, no, they have to take it to BOG because it is the consignment is for BOG. So I back in and say, my friend, don't complicate matters. Don't contradict yourself. Before you came, your head of security has told us that the thing didn't come from BOG. It is not BOG consignment. The PMMC man is saying that they had these goods from private refineries. And when chopper brings them from this refinery, then they will go and pick them. And you are now telling us that the thing is for BOG. And so the safest place to go and keep them till the next morning was BOG vote. So we are getting more confused. And at that point, he gave us grounds to cement whatever suspicions we had. So that is how it all ended when we finally decided to take it to the police headquarters, put them in the van, go there, get people to guard the van, and wait for the next day. Only for me to, yesterday, you read a statement from the PMMC alleging differently on this subject.
So, in the statement, they say that this gold in question is part of the domestic gold purchase program, DGPP, that they have with the Bank of Ghana. It was launched as far back as 2021. You say that in the interactions you had with the PMMC as well as the BOG on the day of the incident, both of them gave different accounts. BOG said they had no idea about this gold, yet PMMC also had said that this was for the Bank of Ghana. Correct?
Okay, so let me clear it further for you. The PMMC guy says that the gold they were exporting was from private refineries. That is what they told us. Okay. In the presence of all the security people. And our question was straight. Is it for Bank of Ghana? Because the gold for oil, whatever trade, is done by the Bank of Ghana, not PMMC. PMMC buys these goods, and government of Ghana takes it. Immediately, the government of Ghana take possession of it to do the exchange program. It has to be in the safety and the care of Bank of Ghana. PMMC washes its hands off these goods because it's now the property of the state. At this point, as we were talking, PMMC told us that they also do exporting for private trade. Okay. And so, this gold we're talking about is not gold that they picked from Bank of Ghana. Okay, they picked it from private. Yes, and so private refineries, and they export it for them. All they did that day was to get Bank of Ghana security to come and police them to the safer grounds of the airport for them to be able to do the transaction. That is from the PMMC guy that time. Then we asked the head of security of Bank of Ghana who brought it, that is the consignment for Bank of Ghana. He categorically stated that no. So the police commander asked him, at what point did you join the consignment to the airport? He said you were called in the PMMC were in the process of exporting the gold out of the country, and that they should come in, and should, in case they are unable to finish the process today, they can take the things back to Bank of Ghana safe grounds. The gold in question had two boxes, two separate boxes, different. And I asked the question. I have all these videos I'm talking about on my phone. So two. Let me play. Okay. Two boxes. So I asked the question, why is the box in the car different from the box, the 17 other boxes? Then the PMMC guy says that they are going to two different locations. And so the one in the car, the first one they moved before we stopped them, was heading to a different location. And the 17 others that are in the same box, same description, were also moving to one location. So now who comes in and tell me that it is the oil for trade, whatever transaction of the Bank of Ghana processes that were being followed and got disrupted by my team?
Domestic gold purchase program. Now, so you are telling us that what they told you on the ground is clearly different from what they are saying in their statements.
Very different.
In that the gold belonged to the Bank of Ghana as part of the domestic gold purchase program. You say that on the ground, when you asked the PMMC, they had said that these were from private refineries and they had resorted to the use of the Bank of Ghana as a form of security, correct?
Sure. Now,
okay.
If the Bank of Ghana is exported, like I told you, the precious minerals marketing company, their core function is to buy the gold. Their duty, if BOG wants to do their transaction, they don't need PMMC to execute the transaction. They only need PMMC to get them the gold for the transaction. And so if PMMC gets the gold, they don't bring the gold to the airport for BOG to come and export them. BOG has a vote specifically for keeping gold. And so if they want to move their gold in exchange of oil, they don't need PMMC to escort them. They just move it in their vans straight to the airport, get documentations right, and they move. Before Bank of Ghana will export their gold, they would have gone through the lab exercises and got all the purity and everything cleared, and they move straight and will get into the thing. But PMMC, the gold they brought, they have to take it to the lab, get it tested, get to know the purity of the gold before packaging and sending it. So clearly, it was a private transaction that was going on. Why would they bring in Bank of Ghana? And now again, if the goods are for Bank of Ghana, a state entity that we are protecting, you think that it is difficult for the governor of Bank of Ghana to pick a phone and call Yamin? Yes. We are just about executing this transaction. I'm told that you are there if intercepted. Is it difficult for him to do that? Is it difficult for any top official of Bank of Ghana who have called me and said that, Yamin, this process you are halting is going to affect the country, the one that you will be taking over in just some 2 weeks to come, where probably we may not even get fuel for you guys to. Is it difficult? Is it difficult for the national security coordinator or minister call Yamin, who he can call at any point in time, and say that, Yamin, this is something that is legally, and so you can, if you can allow process of, can we give you clarity? None from anywhere. But all the calls I was receiving was from PMMC that they want to talk to me privately. Talk to me privately on what? And the next morning you are issuing such a statement. There's more to it. And we want to find out what it is. I told them that, look, I'm not interested in it. As I speak with you, I'm in the Upper West region. I was moving out to the Upper West region. So my issue was to ensure that what is being exported out of the country is illegal for it to be done, and that nobody is passing through the back door to cheat the nation. If I got clarity at that point that, oh, these things are legal, these things are normal, it has to go through whatever, we would have even gotten to this point. But everybody was running away. Why would you run away if what you are doing is right? Only for you to come and issue a statement in the form they issued yesterday, contradicting what it is, speaking differently from the exact thing. And look, they should be prepared, because some of us are not going to sit back. We'll come out. Every step we took, we had videos of them, just for evidence sake. And that's why I'm saying that whoever wrote that probably didn't consult the person who was there, who was contradicting himself, who was shivering. At the point, the policeman will have to tell the man, brother, slow down, calm down. Don't just talk. Because you are giving us information we have not even asked you for. Calm down. And when you relax, you can give us some better details. But we'll have to go to the end of this
Now, Mr. Yamin, you know, in a part of the statement, you mentioned in your explanation, you mentioned that on the grounds they explained to you that these bars were coming from a private refinery. Yet in the statement they say that it belongs to the Bank of Ghana. Well,
that's where I'm shocked about.
Also, in another part of the statement, they mentioned that, you know, bars also belonging to to a private company. So let me just read excerpts of that. They say that this unlawful action is deeply regrettable and has the potential to cause significant harm to Ghana's reputation on the international bullion market. Such disruptions not only undermine the confidence of legitimate. Let me just skip that. But essentially, they say that there was a private exporter who was caught up in this because their gold was also part of this particular consignment, and so it is worrying. Does it not feed into what they told you earlier, that this particular gold did also belong to some private individuals?
I'm surprised. So that's what I said when I read the story. Not only did I laugh, but I was also shocked that the PMMC will issue such, and the PMMC will be talking for Bank of Ghana. Why? Bank of Ghana also issue a statement claiming ownership of this. If it is from two entities, Bank of Ghana's portion as well as the PMMC, will Bank of Ghana not speak? Nowhere did we find from their narrative on the ground that the thing was going to whether a genuine source of a Bank of Ghana's transaction and someone going to a different location. We wanted to know if it was from Bank of Ghana. Then both of them told us it's not from Bank of Ghana and that they were transacting it, but it is legal. They do so.
Okay.
On daily basis, and our signal even told us that before this consignment was confiscated, they were able to have put about 100 kilos onto KLM that left earlier. So the ones that were moving on to Emirates is the one we were able to stop. And so they do this, and they told us, they gave us legal documents that they do this on daily basis through that. So this one we are talking about has nothing to do with Bank of Ghana. And I'm saying that if Bank of Ghana wants to do a transaction, they do it on their own because they have what it takes to do it. PMMC doesn't do it on their behalf. Secondly, if Bank of Ghana's consignment was what was intercepted, Bank of Ghana officials, including the governor, have easy access to Yamin to clear it. Then say that, look, Yamin, at this point, they could have even drove from wherever they are to the airport and start to sit down with us and clear the whole issue with all the documentation. When we're asking, they don't even have legal documents. They are now saying, oh, when we go onto their system, we can pull it out. They didn't have hard copies of whatever the transactions that they were going through. We have to get them to go into the Alliance whatever and print documents. We took them more than 30 minutes before they came in with some documents.
Okay, now